Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon Podcast. My guest today, Pierre Person, former member of the French National Assembly and current CEO and co-founder of Usual Labs. Welcome to the pod.
Thank you for inviting me.
Given your pivotal role in sort of France's crypto asset legislation, how has your political background influenced Usual Labs' approach to creating a compliant yet innovative stablecoin?
Yes. So, as you know, I think there is nothing that is harder, I think, than crypto regulation, because clearly new technology impact a lot the framework, and so every time you create something, it's not sure that have been also regulated by the framework. Mm-hmm. So I have some advantage because I know what is the current setup, and I also work a lot during my 5 years in the National Assembly to create a setup that attract capitals in France and help also entrepreneurs to create something that is less risky than other country, I think, because it's also for protecting, people in general, but it's also for protecting entrepreneurs to have a clear rules. So I think it's good to create a DeFi protocol in France, especially in France, in Europe, because we have clearly some rules that are clear and transparent and can help also every entrepreneurs that want to create a DeFi protocol. So it's not just for me and Usual, but in general, yes, we have a little bit. We are a little bit step ahead than other jurisdiction in Europe. There is good things, I think, things that need to be changed in MiCA, that is the European regulatory setup. But clearly, this gives a lot of advantage, I think.
What are some of the things that you would like to see changed?
I think especially on stablecoin, the regulation have been made to maybe protect a little bit, I think, big banks. Stablecoin, for instance, is like electronic money, and it's like commercial money. At the end, I have no doubt, and that is something that I'm convinced in the beginning in 2018 when I started to work on that, that stablecoin will be the new form of commercial money. So there is no place for having the old system that will live in a system where you can create on-chain a really efficient network for distributing money. So we will stay with central money. Central money maybe in one day will be also issue on chain, and you will have commercial money. So stablecoin are commercial money, but if you are issuing something that is like commercial money, this is not good for the actual banks that are issuing this commercial money. So there is a lot of competition, and I think MiCA have been also designed a little bit to just slow down the development of the stablecoin. And so I hope that in the future, clearly the rules will allow widely to have a stablecoin that are a European stablecoin in general, because the biggest stablecoin for the moment are in US. They're also denominated in US dollar, but there is no real stablecoin. There is just Usual. I think we are in the top one stablecoin in Europe. And so for that, I really hope that there will be more stablecoin, because I think it will be something that will be mandatory in the future for the financial system. So if Europe want to stay sovereign, we need to have more competitors on this aspect.
Wow. With the recent turbulence sort of in crypto markets, we've seen your stablecoin really maintaining stability and even grow its total locked value. What would you attribute that to?
First on the peg, and that was a good test here, because we did during the flash crash of Monday 20 days ago, I think, something like that, 3 weeks ago. I think we stabilized the peg around maybe a deviation of 20 bips. So for young stablecoin, we were totally happy with that. And this is also because of how the mechanism is built. So usual is backed by real world asset. And so whenever you want, you can burn a part of the supply to ensure to make arbitrage on the secondary market and stabilize the secondary market with a primary market that is efficient. So the way that usual is built allows that. After that, you mentioned that, our TVL is growing a lot, especially in a summer that was not very easy for VC, for DeFi protocol, and so on. I think we also have traction because we are creating a community, and this community want to see new actors that will offer also a solution that is different than Tether and Circle. Just because Tether and Circle just bring to the market something that was very innovative in 2017, 2018. But for the moment, they just look like all bank in certain sense because they are not sharing any value that is created by the user. So we are trying to diffuse a new ethos that is mostly, I think, linked to what crypto should be in the future.
I was about to ask you, how are you positioning yourself against Tether? So it's community part of that. Is there something else?
No, yes, it's community part in certain sense where we really want to decentralize Tether, Tether is like a centralized actor that is making 6 billion each year since the interest rates are high. But last year they made more than a traditional bank. And clearly they are governed by their shareholders. What we want to do is that we want to create a Tether that is fully decentralized on chain. So the collateral will be on chain, so it's easy to supervise what is the collateral of the stablecoin and to ensure that it's verifiable, transparent, and so on. So to clearly improve the transparency. And also the second thing is that we want to distribute the ownership and the value generated to the user. So the user can have the ownership and the governance on the issuer. And in certain sense, it's normal because people, when they're depositing their money in a stablecoin or when they are buying some stablecoin, normally they should have a part of the value that is generated by their liquidity. And I think it's not normal for the moment, but it will be something that will appear very normal and very efficient also in the future.
What's a sort of a timeline there? It's a difficult question, but is it a year? Is it 2 years from now? When is that?
I think the stablecoin market is like a momentum. So we need to scale fast and to also be in the top 10 quite quickly. I think we are in the top 15, something like that, as a stablecoin in 1 month. So really reaching a systemic threshold is very important, and continuing to spread the stablecoin. So currently, DeFi integration are the most important thing for us. So we are integrating a lot of DeFi protocol, but we don't want to be just fully crypto native. I really think that if we want to spread crypto, especially make a bridge between TradFi and DeFi, we need to target also fintech user, and create something that is less complicated than what we can see actually on the market with the DeFi protocol that are very sophisticated in certain sense. So really, I see usual as a common banking protocol that will also give the possibility for the users to participate in the choice of the future of the protocol and the stablecoin in general. And in terms of timeline, I think we have DeFi integration first. After that, we will have CeFi distribution that will be important. We also have the TGE of the governance token that will happen in November, that will start distributing the governance token. And I really think that we have a new innovative concept behind the governance token that ensure that first 90% of the governance token is distributed for the community. So it's not a project where you will see VC dumping on retails. And I want to have something that is clearly transparent also in terms of distribution of wealth for the user.
Yeah, you keep talking about the user needs to see the real value on their side. I get the sense that's really important for you.
Yes, because when you analyze what is the value of Tether, Tether is a company that's worth, I think, 100 billions. So it's just incredible, It's also the most profitable company, and in general in crypto, after, I think, Ethereum or something like that. So clearly, I think people, when they are using USDT, they have something that is very liquid, integrated, and so on. But at start, they were not expecting that it's making so much cash and so much value. And so at the end, I really think that normally this is for the user, Web3. Yeah. I really don't love the term Web3, but Web3 for people that are not crypto native explain well what should be the future of web. And so for Web3, normally if you are bringing value to a protocol or an application, normally you should receive a part of this value. That is the ethos of Web3. And clearly, if I make a comparison, Tether and Circle are Web2, and really with usual start to be a protocol that have in mind the ethos of Web3.
So let's shift gears a bit. You talked about fintech companies, and for everything DeFi, you need great coders, right? I mean, the engineers, basically. When I was doing research for this episode, some people reached out to me to ask you specifically about some startups that are reportedly, allegedly moving their business from France to countries like Asia and Australia because of the stringent tax implications that France has sort of put on them that doesn't make it feasible for them to do business there. What's your sort of take there in terms of the political and entrepreneurial consequences of that? Is that a fair assumption of what's happening, and what would you like to see if so?
I think the most difficult point in France in general is around hiring people. So to be competitive, I think there is a gap between US and Europe in general. I realized that just after leaving the National Assembly, but clearly the wage are so much higher in US than in Europe. So if you want to hire best developers and so on, clearly with just a seed amount, it's very difficult to build the company. So this is also a part of the plan where you are scaling. You change also the people that you are hiring, and that's very something that you need to manage. After that, clearly the second problem in Europe is that we don't have a lot of VC funds that are based in Europe and know what is crypto. And financing companies are very tough, and especially these days. And so we need more VC in Europe. The last thing is the tax. I really don't think that we have a good tax in terms of crypto. But I have participated to make a setup that is clearly attractive. For instance, for individual, we don't have any tax on crypto to crypto. So if you are making some gains, but you stay in crypto, you don't have tax. So I think it's something that is precious in France. After that, hiring, you have a cost of hiring people that is very expensive, because a part of this revenue is given to the state, and it's around 45, maybe 50%. And so in certain aspect, that can create also less attractiveness for French entrepreneurs. But usually it's fully remote. We are hiring all over the world, especially in US and in Europe. So we are not totally linked to these difficulties. We are looking for the best developers. Half of the team is only engineers, and we clearly we are based in France because I want to stay in France, and I think if you want to stay in France, it's possible. Really, you can compete. We demonstrate that in 2 years we become the first stablecoin issuer, and we are currently in France, and the company is based in France, and we are paying tax in France. So it just a little bit difficult, but we can do that. And sometimes I try also to convince my colleague as an entrepreneur to do the same, because it's important also for building in our country some good companies that can scale and compete against US companies.
France has some of the best coders in the world. I mean, just from my personal opinion and working with, especially on the finance side. Last question that I want to ask you before I let you go. You've been a strong advocate for tech innovation. You've been pushing for deregulation and to foster growth, but some of your critics argue that this might overlook the need for consumer protection and market fairness. How do you balance the drive for innovation with necessity of regulation?
Yeah, I think we need 1 hour to answer to this question. But no, clearly, it is the role of the policymaker to have an equilibrium on that. It's never black or white. There is a lot of things on the market that are not satisfying on the crypto market, especially I think for protecting retails from insiders. But in the other sense, you cannot just drop crypto and say that is just used, for money laundering and terrorism and so on. I think in the debate in France, we had that. We have a lot of people that were way against crypto and people that are very in favor of crypto. I think we just need to have a trade-off and an equilibrium. And so for that, we need to be clever and I think the most important thing is to understand what will be the future with crypto, and what is the use of crypto, the usage of crypto. After that, if you are doing well your job in terms of policymaker, you can have an equilibrium. The danger for crypto in general is those guys that are way against or way in favor and doesn't see what is the reality and what should be normally the global interest. So I'm pretty convinced that we will achieve to have something that is equilibrated, I think, in the future, especially in US, with the next election. But clearly, it is something that is specific to crypto, and we don't see that with AI. We have a lot of debate on AI, but crypto is something that is very in favor or very against.
I think we need to move from that idealism that people have to more pragmatic solutions, because otherwise we're just going to have this stalemate. Pierre, thank you so much for joining me today. If the listeners want to go and connect with you and find out more about Usual Labs, where can they do that?
It's very simple. You go to usual.money and you will access to the DApp, so all the documentation, and feel free also to join us on Twitter, on Telegram.
Awesome. I'm going to put all the links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me today. And to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.
Liberté, égalité, la fraternité nous unit. Résistance dans la cryptosphère. Liberté, nos cœurs en colère. Égalité, ensemble on persévère. Fraternité, notre révolution est sincère. Les anciens pouvoirs tentent de nous éteindre, mais le feu brûle fort, impossible à contraindre. Dans chaque bloc, une nouvelle vérité. Nous forgeons l'avenir, sans peur ni fausseté. Résistance dans la cryptosphère. Liberté, nos cœurs en colère. Égalité, ensemble on persévère. Fraternité, notre révolution est sincère. Sous la bannière du code, on marche sans relâche. Contre les tyrans, notre union se détache. Pour chaque âme libre, un monde à créer. Nos voix résonnent, rien ne peut les étouffer. Résistance.